I don't hate people. I just feel better when they're not around. Just kidding. That was a quote from my favorite poet, Charles Bukowski, who is, you guessed it, the subject of today's influential author. Hello authors, future authors, book enthusiasts, and anybody who might have stumbled upon this channel. My name is M.A. Kennedy. That's M.A. I am a self-published author. My premier historical fiction novel, The Rolling Pin, is about to be re-released on Amazon at the beginning of September. I will be releasing a video explaining why I'm republishing. It is still available to purchase, but please know that there are some errors in the first edition. So, I will be making a video on what not to do when self-publishing. Don't do like I did. Anyway, I am ecstatic that we will finally be releasing a hopefully pristine version of my first novel, but I'm only human and mistakes happen. We have corrected them in just a few months and it's a lesson learned. But that is not what we're talking about today. Today is part of my influential author series, Butmakeitfashion, and Charles Bukowski is my next author. I have been away for a little while. I had planned to do these videos consecutively, but I had a skin condition on my face that I just felt really insecure and I could not film a video. I ended up having periofacial dermatitis due to a steroid cream I was given. I had a horrible reaction. If anybody has ever had this before, I feel for you with my whole heart because it was awful and it took about 2 weeks to go away. But everything seems to be fine now, so keeping my fingers crossed it doesn't come back, as I have read that it can return, so we'll see. Other exciting news for the future is I just got back from vacation. We did a medieval French village tour and we vlogged the whole thing. It is my first time vlogging ever, so I'm not sure it will be cinematic masterpiece, but you will get to see us traveling through at least 5 or 6 medieval villages in France. They're stunningly beautiful. Now, I cannot talk about my man Charles Bukowski without a cameo from at least one of my cats. Maybe you will see the other one later. This is Darwin. Say hello. Like me, Bukowski was a big lover of cats, and I will show you a picture of that here. But without further ado, let's Bukowski ourselves. And we're back. So obviously this look isn't very complicated, but I used this photo of Charles Bukowski as my inspiration. Honestly, I couldn't tell if the shirt was black or blue, but it was dark color. I had both in my closet. I just decided to go with black. He also often wore t-shirts or white button-ups with suspenders. Could have gone either way. He was notorious for drinking and smoking. If you look up a picture of Charles Bukowski, he either has a cigarette or cigar in his hand, or a bottle of alcohol, or a glass of alcohol. I am not a smoker, so I decided to use a reusable straw for my cigarette. Henry Charles Bukowski was a German-American poet. He was of the beatnik generation. He actually did not become famous from his poetry until I believe he was in his 50s. But he wrote all his life. He wrote very controversial poems about alcoholism, about relationships, about life, about depression. Many of his poems are very, very relatable. At least to me, when I was going through a difficult time, it was like someone else was being introspective on my behalf, and I was able to look inward. Honestly, his poems made me dig deeper, to be more honest in my writing, because he wrote in such a way that was really raw. He was going to say what he was going to say, whether or not it was taboo, whether or not people would like it. His writing was inspired by the socioeconomic situation in Los Angeles at the time where he lived, and it really spoke to the working man of the time. Bukowski had his first poems published around the age of 24, but he didn't receive a publishing deal until he was 49 years old. At that time, he was working at a post office in Los Angeles, and he decided to quit his job to pursue writing full-time. He's quoted as saying at the time, "I have one of two choices: stay in the post office and go crazy, or stay out here and play at writer and starve. I have decided to starve." That's the kind of person he was. Charles Bukowski is one of those authors that made me feel like it's never too late. He had been writing since his early 20s, but he never saw any real notoriety until he was 49 years old. And now he is one of the most well-known poets in the world. There's so much pressure on authors today because we have so many ways to publish. Indie publishing has become a real industry, whereas before it was looked at as kind of something that you did if you couldn't get traditionally published. But I myself decided to indie publish and haven't even written a query letter, so I never even tried to traditionally publish. I will in the future, but that's not something I wanted to do right now. However, I felt like maybe I started too late, as I joined the Authortube community and I saw some of the other authors were as young as 18 or 19 years old, and I'm 33. But as Bukowski famously said, "Find what you love and let it kill you." What I took this to mean as is find your passion and do it all the way. He also said, if you're going to try, go all the way. I love writing, and I've always loved writing, and I've always wanted to be a writer, so guess what? I'm a writer. And also Charles Bukowski today. So as I like to finish each one of these series with a little writing exercise, why don't you get a pen and paper and write down a poem that is extremely honest. Whatever you're feeling right now, just put your pen to paper, and if you feel like it, you can compare it to one of Charles Bukowski's poems online. He is not someone that I look at as a hero. He's not somebody to emulate per se, but he is someone who wrote really raw and really honest, and that's something that I can appreciate. Please stay tuned for my next influential author. It will be way less controversial, but a bit of a surprise, as I'm not sure anybody would guess that this person would be someone I would feature on an author's page. I have 2 more influential authors to go. Let me know down in the comments below if you like this series, if you want me to do anybody else, and also stay tuned for my travel vlog if that's something that you prefer. As always, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell icon to get notified whenever I post. I love you guys. Bye.